This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money with me, the real Theo Harvey.
And your host, Mr. Benja.
So, Mr. Benja, let's get right into it. We are live again. Show versus Business back in effect. Here's the air horn if you can't hear it.
Oh,
Let's
for those
go.
of you who can't hear it, give them the womp womp.
Man,
Ladies
Mr.
and gentlemen,
Benja.
we got new toys.
Oh yeah, we were trying to advance, guys, as always. So, Mr. Benja, man, how was your week?
You know how my week was? Let me tell you. It was Juneteenth week, and on Thursday, June 19th, 2025, everybody was happy except for Trump. And I'm kind of laughing now because this guy, I mean, we're all having joy and he's all mad that we're having a holiday. It just seems like he needs to let a little stress out. So I'm not even mad at the guy. I hope he's okay. But, you know, if he's not, sad day.
What is going on, man, with that? I mean, yeah, I saw that tweet. I was like, I just had a feeling he's going to say something for Juneteenth, something negative. And sure enough, he did. Pretty much he said, Juneteenth, Trump on Juneteenth, U.S. has too many non-working holidays. So anytime if it's going to be a minority or, immigrant or someone of less status and he has opportunity to shit on them, he will. So it's just, I just figure that's just par for the course of this president, which is unfortunate, but that's what people voted for.
Yeah, and what's funny? People always give well, you liked him before, and all the rappers liked him and everything. What changed? What changed? He was just showing up at parties and taking pictures. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't telling us anything. We didn't know who he was. I mean, that's your neighbor could do the same thing, and you'd be like, oh my god,
He showed up a 3-hour podcast with Joe Rogan, and people are like, I can have a beer with that guy. He sounds cool. He don't sound crazy.
Yeah. But what's funny is during the 2020 elections, remember he actually said he would make Juneteenth a holiday. That was funny. Like, I promise to make it a holiday. It'll be great. You know how he is. I'm not even going to continue with that, but yeah. In his rant, he didn't specifically say Juneteenth, but that's one of those coded things. And if anything, man, I will say, dude is loud and obnoxious, but he's slick. Do not underestimate the fact that he is just a slick individual who is doing slick stuff all the time. So don't underestimate people like this. That's all I got to say.
No, I agree. I mean, the big thing, controversy this week was, were we going to go into war with Iran? And it gets to a point, I don't even watch these, headlines anymore because to me, it's just clickbait, dopamine hits, right? To get you to panic. Well, did you see all that went around World War III and all this stuff? I was like,
yeah.
I don't care, man. I mean, it's like, what can you do? It's just anything they can do to try to get you to, go off the trail that you're going on down your path, right? I'm focused on my business, my thing, and here's World War III. What am I going to do, man, with that? So it's just like, I just ignore it, man.
It's kind of like no matter what your algorithm is, some of that stuff just pops up and you're like, why?
Exactly. Yeah. So just ignore that stuff, guys. Don't get drawn into that crap. I mean, it's going to be easy to, given everything that's happening right now, but I just ignore it, man, because I'm just like, man, I don't have time for all this, man. It's just, what you focus in on is going to be so key, especially in the AI age, because these algorithms are trying to I mean, I get that now. How many times have you gone like social media to try to do a project or do something or do some research, and next thing you know, 30 minutes is gone. You're like, ooh, what was I doing?
They're good at it, man. They're really good at it.
Damn good. And it's like, I can't do that anymore, man. And that's why, I mean, literally, I don't have any notifications that come up on my phone. I turn them all off. And my wife, even my wife's mad at me. What you doing? How you gonna miss it? I was like, look, I'll check it every hour just to make sure you guys are okay. But then most of the time I have it on what's this? Can you see my phone here?
Silent mode.
Do not disturb. Yep. Do not
D&D.
disturb. Yeah, because it's like, not only are we getting, inundated with just our friends and family, but social media. And then now you got these AI calling bots calling about everything now. It's just
Yeah.
getting ridiculous. So yeah, man. Guys, take advice from us, man. Just get that you're seeing sanity by staying away from from too much distraction.
I mean, it's really a weird thing, man. The way it's been attacking everybody. I was just on a discussion with some of my friends, and we were talking about how uh, we're using all this technology, and you're kind of ending up with these two camps where people who just hear about like the new technology and they try to use it responsibly. There's a small group that tries to use it responsibly.
Mhm.
Then there's a larger chunk that just says, "Get away from me." And then there's the majority who are just like, "I'm in. It's where we are right now. This is just what I do."
Mhm.
And it's just amazing seeing that happen over and over again. Where you know how it used to be back in the day. Well, I got rid of my TV, and everyone's like, "What'd you do that for?" It's like, "I got rid of my TV." And you're like, all right, whatever, man. I had a friend who just contacted me by text, like, "I got rid of all my social media," and I'm like, "Oh, that's why you didn't respond to my messages and all this." All right, you know,
Like they did something. I get it. I mean, it's a journey, and right. They feel like there's a process that they have to go to, kind of detox from everything. But that goes to show you if we have to detox or something, that usually means it's bad for us, right? Whether it's food, alcohol, social media detoxes now.
yeah,
So it just goes to show you that is really becoming detrimental, and it's going to get worse. I mean, I think I sent you something earlier this week. Remember about these little historical Bible stories and
yeah, yeah.
from Roman times,
AI
you
Bible
know,
stories.
AI Bible story. That's the thing now. I mean, it's just like, and it distracted the heck out of me because I'm like, what's this? Oh, this is kind of interesting. And I said, oh, this is AI, and it's going to
Yeah,
get
man.
worse.
Yeah, it's a far cry from that the felt board with the little cutouts of like Moses and the they every church and Bible study had this white felt board, and the Bible study teacher would just start talking, and suddenly they reach into a folder and pull out a little picture of Jesus and stick it on the board, and you're like, oh, "This is a great story, man."
Nah, man, this is better when you got Moses right there holding the iPhone when the Red Sea is parting behind him. Man, that's awesome. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's what I was listening to some podcast. I can't remember his name, but he had mentioned that it's like, I think it was like a path, right? We had just these digital, kind of gurus, these faceless YouTube channels. Now we're getting these
hmm
AI kind of channels. Now we're getting like history, just anything that's going to get, and they're getting tens of thousands of views, right? To the
yeah.
next thing hits. So yeah.
What do
Speaking
you
of
think of?
which, go ahead.
What are your feelings on those? Not like how the society or whatever, but like personally, do you ever check those out, or do you like them, or
What? I'm the one that
like
showed you about it.
the,
That
the
I was like,
faces?
"What is this?" Oh, the
No,
faceless
no,
ones.
yeah,
Oh yeah. You know what? There's a lot of faceless ones. Well, they're kind of pseudo faces because the guy maybe shows up at the end, of the video. But it's like a lot of, I'm in basketball mode, right, with my son. So I watch a lot of like YouTube videos on basketball analysis and
yeah,
gameplay. So they're showing the plays more and they're talking more, right? So they're talking over the play. So to me, I'm fine with that. Even some of the history ones, those are pretty cool. I like to watch every now and then. But yeah, but I know there's some people who are making money on faceless ones, but can you really build a brand? But do they care? I don't know. They're just trying to create a system in place to kind of generate money from quick trend hits. But I
yeah.
don't,
So
I don't think you're creating a brand without, your face, your voice, stuff like that.
yeah, you're creating a at the very least a common touch point for a subject.
Yeah,
Where
exactly.
people are, if they're always looking into like certain news topics, very niche areas, um, like sports wrap up, whatever. You could just
Mhm.
go through the news, post a picture of a guy and a little news clip next to every person that has a news thing said about them. Put that in the Excel doc, run it through some AI kind of thing, and then next thing you know, you have all these shorts and videos talking about this player doing
Yeah.
these things or whatever. And then later on, what they do is they come back and start sliding in ads where it's like, hey, if you like this, or what's funny, I don't know if you've seen these. There's this one channel that's speaking of Juneteenth. There's one channel that's pro-black that I was following. It's just all about like Black history and um, moments in Black culture that are happening. It's like, hey, this new thing by Ryan Coogler and Clarksdale, and he did a big thing. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And you just keep on reading it and going on. Suddenly, it's like this little blonde girl is running on the beach laughing, and she's like, she throws the ball at the camera and they starts laughing, da da da, yeah, you wish you could get like me. And then it just starts over. I'm like, hmm, that's interesting.
I'm
you
sorry.
know
You wish you could get like me. Just
yeah,
random.
it's just one of those, it's like not rage bait or clickbait kind of things, but just like engagement kind of bait. Like,
Hmm.
nobody wants to get you anyway, or, oh, I'll catch your ball. Oh, it was something silly. You know, it's like,
Uh,
but, it was in the middle of this, it was in the middle of this, Black history thing.
oh
So I
yeah.
was like, oh, everybody in the comments was like, why are you posting this? Why would you do this? This has nothing to do with Black history. Da da da. And I'm like, don't you guys get what just happened? No one
Genius.
gets what just happened. Of course, it's tagged. You go to that person's page who threw the beach ball, and it's like, here's my OF. Let's go. And I'm like, I've been
Let's
following a
go.
I've been following a page this long, and it was just a setup, or it got sold or hacked. I don't think it got
Yeah.
hacked though, because it keeps on going back to the Black content just to
Oh,
keep us
interesting.
there.
Keep us there, but there will be some snow bunnies popping
Yeah,
in on your
I
African
wanna,
safari.
I wanna, I wanna unfollow. I'm looking at my phone. I wanna unfollow, but they still
Exactly.
posting, but they still posting some heat. So I'm gonna stay.
I know, man. It's just too much, man. It's just so I was gonna along those lines. You was talking about just dumping AI and stuff and doing it. I had a "there's no spoon" moment. You remember that
Okay,
scene from The Matrix where
absolutely.
they were bending spoons? I mean, yes, of
Yeah,
course, but I'll explain it to the audience so everyone can
explain.
know we're all on the same page. There's a scene where Neo is in there with the other ones with the Oracle, and everyone's like practicing bending these smooth spoons, right? These little kids, and he said, "Oh, it's bending spoons." He said, "Well, the key is to realize there is no spoon." And he goes, "Huh." And he pulls a spoon up. He said, "There is no spoon." And then as he cocks his head, the spoon bends with him.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I had that moment with AI, man, recently. So, I think there's just levels, and I might even do a post on this. I'm just, vetting it with you, but I think a lot of people know this intuitively, but as I'm getting to higher levels, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. First level is just like, hey, can you summarize stuff for me, right? I wrote
hmm,
something, can do a quick look at it, rewrite it and all that stuff. So first is like, okay, I have an email, check it. The next level is, you know what? Can you just write the email for me? Right? Boom.
yeah,
This is who I need to say to, the content, send it to. The third level is like, well, am I sending this email to the right people? Right? It's like, hey, can I send this email to the right, folks and all that stuff? Is this correct? Fourth level is like, should I even be writing this email? Using AI to figure that out. Fifth level is like, why am I even sending emails in the first place? Maybe there's a whole different way to reach this people. The
yeah,
sixth layer is like, you know what? I don't even need to do this at all because there's this other way that's going to be way faster. And the seventh layer is like, hey, ChatGPT, can you just build out this whole model and critique yourself to figure out this is the best model for us to even do, to even start with.
yeah,
So to me, there's just these evolution of layers when
yeah,
because I had that moment when I thought where I was like, I said, "Hey, you know what? Okay, let me figure out some business ideas." And then it came to us like, "What? Why I got to figure it out?" I said, "ChatGPT, what are the hot trends in business right now?" And
yeah,
it gave me a bunch of lists, and I was like, "Whoa!" And
yeah,
then I said, "Critique yourself and find out is this accurate?" Then it went to another level. I said, "I never even thought of a business like that."
yeah,
So it's like it gets to a point where you can kind of literally go down these different layers and get insights and if you really unpack it and really think
yeah,
about it. So anyway, so that's kind of the there's no spoon moment to me. It's like I think we're just scratching the surface of the capabilities of these LLMs,
Yeah.
And yeah, they get more powerful, but I don't know, man. I think they're powerful enough. What do you think?
Do I think they're going to wait? They should be
I said,
more
are they going
powerful.
to get more powerful? I think they're going to get more
Oh,
powerful.
totally, totally.
But I think because of our lack of creativity or where we're just not thinking to, I mean, some, the kids who are native, AI, remember native digital folks, the kids who grew up
Yeah,
with Google, there's going to be native people who AI, and that's just how they're going to think. We don't think like that naturally right now. So
right.
the more you kind of think like that, where it's like, I don't even need to do any of this. It is really at this higher level. And I need to kind of think at that higher level before I start
Yeah.
with anything. And I think we're just not there
S-
yet.
So there's two things from that. First off, yeah, the young ones are going to have a different set of questions that they think are relevant, and those are the questions that will be able to, utilize AI and all these systems much more effectively than the majority of people who weren't raised with it.
Mhm.
Um, obviously there's still people like we're technically minded, so there's going to be some non-technically minded kid coming out talking about, dude, Chat GPT said, yeah, but did you ask him this? And when we flip it on them, we're technically minded, so we can still answer some of these questions. But yeah, they're going to be more native with it. That's definitely going to be a thing. The other side of that coin is, um, recently, MIT's been studying this. I was trying to look it up while I was talking here, but MIT has been studying how AI affects, people's brains, and it ends up reducing cognition in ways that are a lot heavier than we thought. In fact, I'm going to post you the link right here.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
so what this says is MIT just completed the first brain scan study of ChatGPT users, and the results are terrifying. Turns out AI isn't making us more productive; it's making us cognitively bankrupt. So that's on a numerical kind of scale. Like most of us aren't getting, more productive and really challenging ourselves with AI and talking with these systems and trying to outsmart them like you and I are doing because we're smart brothers. Um, a lot of people are just kind of using it to say, you know, how do I deep fry chicken? And they'll they'll get a recipe and be like, cool, the search is way better than Google was, and that's basically what they're using it for.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I'm looking at this study right here, and it says your brain on ChatGPT accumulation of cognitive debt when using an AI assistant for essay writing task. So basically, like they did brain scans of people using ChatGPT to help with an essay writing
Yeah. Hmm.
task. So I mean, let's be honest. How many people are? I mean, I'm not the greatest writer either, and so it's
Well,
I could get that. I think
yeah.
that's a subset. We'll see if it extrapolates to other tasks when it comes to cognitive load. And all that.
Well,
Because
compiling an essay is essentially a more complex version of miniature essays we tell to ourselves every time. Like, are we trying to persuade? Are we trying to explain? Are we trying to, um, inform? Like when someone comes in a room, sweating and breathing hard, you're like, hey, what happened? This person's about to give us a very short, impromptu essay on
Mhm.
what happened. And when people can't think, they're just going to start blubbering. Oh, dude, I was outside, and they can't cognitively think. So, I mean, that's the way I'm seeing
I almost died.
it. Shout out to Kevin Smith.
um, yeah, I guess, man. I would just say this. I mean, I'm trying to think. I get what you're saying. So it's the stories we tell in our brain, to kind of persuade people, and the essay, in essence, is similar, right? Whereas,
Hmm.
but it's more intentional about because you're not there personal, so you're not there in person, so the word has to carry beyond you. But I would say this: there are people who are great liars that can't write a great essay, right? They can put together a story in their head without having to, because they're using other things, not just what the words say, but they're using their voice, their
Yeah.
face, their
Hmm.
vocal tone. You know what I'm saying? So there's more that goes into persuading people just having a story. Does that make sense? And so, uh,
Sure. And once again, is AI going to make that easier or worse? I
Well,
mean,
I would just I say it every I'm just like my kids, for instance, right? You can see that obsession that they can just spend hours on something, right? Because that's just what
yeah.
kids do, and that's what humans do at the younger stage or any stage. I think AI could help alleviate the cognitive load for things that you're not good at, that you don't want to be good at, and you
Hmm.
strengthen those. Let's say you're an artist, right? You want to be the greatest
Yeah.
painter. You can outsource, marketing that painting. You can outsource the delivery. I mean, we talked about this with what's his name, Benjamin Hardy, right? He talks about that
Hmm.
being really good at what you can 10x at, right? And
Yeah.
and just kind of outsourcing everything. Or who also said that? I think it was the other guy, the entrepreneur guy.
Ferris.
No, what's that
Hormozy.
one? The Who, not the How, right? Or
Oh,
yeah,
Dan
the Who,
Sullivan.
the Dan Sullivan. So if the goal in life really should 80%. What you talked about this, right? Was it 80%?
I
You
love
should
it.
be
Yeah.
spending 80% of your time, on the things that you're like the best at, right? As
Yeah.
opposed to,
Definitely.
not the 20%. And so I say all this say is like, I'm not poo pooing the data, who am I to go after MIT, but I would say, it is a little narrow,
It's
in
a
the
very
task.
localized
Yeah,
study,
localized
and
kind of
I don't
study,
want
but
to.
I get your point. It could be a proxy for, stories we tell ourselves, but I do feel like it is opening my brain to be more creative when I can kind of give off some of the other loads. And then also, I'm struggling with certain areas in my business and I'm using it to help me brainstorm faster, right? It's like, I know what to do, but it's
Yeah.
like I can't figure it out for my market, right? So I can get why I work for Hermosi or for these other folks, but like for my market, it's like I can't just, get a lead magnet and get, 20 people show up. No, that's just not how it works, or
Yeah.
and B2B is hard anyway, right? When you're trying to sell stuff. So I say, but I'm leveraging ChatGPT to kind of say, okay, well, let's figure this out a little bit differently, right? And give me some strategies. So I say that to say I do feel like it opens up my brain a little bit more. But you might be right. I take an essay
Well,
test, I might fail it because of ChatGPT cognitive
well, yeah. You
tests.
know what? And the thing that does actually scare me, I shouldn't say scare, but the thing that does actually make me wonder is anytime there's a fundamental shift, right? It's not like with technology or the way things happen, sociological, methodological, whatever, technological. It happens in such a way usually that all of your previous skills become uh, irrelevant, or a lot of them become very just irrelevant. Like it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, you might be right, but the criteria has changed so much that shrug. You know what I mean? Like somebody might have told me, like driving, well, hey, you're a grown adult, you need to drive. Everyone's using cars. And then someone says, dude, I live in the middle of New York. You're like, oh, hmm. Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's not even that relevant of a discussion about driving, right? It's like sad day for you. Um, so yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, what type of future do we go into where I'm just irrelevant?
Ooh, I would say you're irrelevant. You mean because of the accumulation of skills that are no longer necessary anymore? Is that what you're saying?
No, not even skills. Just like, you know, I, it doesn't. I'm not talking about how good AI gets at what I think is important. I'm talking about how everything shifts and what's important changes completely.
Mhm.
So
But that's always the case.
right, right. Well, what I'm getting at is though, we're sitting here talking about, well, yeah, are they going to be, you know, worried about, thinking and all this, and say maybe they don't have to think. Maybe their entire structure is not even based on intelligence; it's based on emotional resilience. How much can they get laughed at? How much can they, take the online comments? Maybe that becomes the new skill, just being able
Mhm.
to be emotionally resilient online. And people who are smart, are called fools because maybe they're, look at that guy in a book. The only reason he's in the book is because he's not emotionally resilient and can't get online. And suddenly you're like, dang, all these years of working up knowledge. I'm like, but I'm smart, and it's like nobody cares.
Well, but then
Like,
there's secondary and third skills. Like you're right, reading a book, right? No one cares about reading a book, but then you have the discipline to extract knowledge from something that a hard source. So, when you read something, from ChatGPT, you're going to do the due diligence to go deeper than everyone else. And so that skill will translate. I think in every,
into
um,
what? It might not even matter. That's what I'm saying.
well, like I said, it always evolves. I mean, we used to, 1,000 years, with hunter farmers, right? But no, does
Mhm.
anyone know how to plant a tree now? I mean, no. Does anyone know
Mhm.
how to, I mean, that was a relevant skill literally 1,000 years ago, right? Or at least
Yeah.
as we change, well, not 1,000, well, yeah, probably 1,000 years ago. Yeah, literally it was. And and that was for thousands of years. But then over time, we went to industrial revolution,
Mhm.
and we got into this technical revolution. New skills evolve that were somewhat transferable, just because you know, you're not no longer tilling the ground. You still had to know math, right, to kind of figure that out. And so you just like you were counting beans at the factory, you had to know math, right? That was a transferable skill. Now, to your point, will math be relevant in this next age? Maybe not, but there's
Yeah.
something aspect of what we did here that will be relevant. Does that make sense? That's how I look at it.
Sure, sure. No. So when I said, will I be relevant? I wouldn't say me personally, just the I in quotes or whatever, whoever's thinking about this. You have to ask, um, yeah, are you doing something that's going to be relevant? Do you want to do it? Do you care? Do you, I mean, like even when social media came out, it's like I remember all the people complaining that a lot of bad artists were getting popular and getting shows, getting jobs, getting gigs because they were good at social media as opposed to being good at art. And it's like, oh yeah. Um, but anyway, similar thing. We kind of know what we're talking about here, but well, I mean, we understand each other. That's what I mean.
Well,
But
yeah.
this
So,
is,
but you're right. I mean, I'm looking at what's happening in the tech world, right? I know you heard about the layoffs that are happening right now. A lot of layoffs in tech world, which is used to be the place where the smartest people went, and that you were safe. But now that's no longer the case, right? They had announced layoffs of I don't know if you saw this. Microsoft said about 6,800 people are going to be impacted by layoffs. Walmart's getting rid of 1,500 people. Uh, did you see Amazon CEO said a lot of these jobs are going to be replaced? We
yeah,
know Meta just announced about 3,600 cuts. So I'm saying all that to say is like, with the advent of AI, I think there's high anxiety of, the workers that we're moving to this digital age. I mean, this AI age a lot faster than we all thought. And you're
yeah,
right. What does that mean to be human? Where because they're saying you're going to do more less, right? They're going to give you. So if you have 5 programmers, right, what they're going to
hmm,
do is replace 4 of them and have one guy managing an AI team, AI
yeah,
automation bots, right, to run the development team. So that's where it's going. I mean, I'm using it in my company, right? Starting to do
hmm.
some animation, automation stuff, and realizing, but that's the privilege of being an entrepreneur. I do feel like workers have to elevate beyond that. If they don't, I mean, but the fascinating thing about human beings, we always, elevate and we always evolve, right? So
Yeah,
whatever this higher order is, I think is possible. It's just that and I think people are realizing that it's like, you know what? Ain't nothing safe no more, man. I mean, these and the only thing that even the job. So you heard the other thing is the other side of the coin is the people who are on the other side of this are making a killing. I mean, it's like the have and have nots are just we already knew that, but it's just
yeah.
becoming wider and wider.
Hmm.
So did you
Well,
see what? So two things. Okay, go ahead.
I was about to say that's what I was getting at earlier when I was saying that, a lot of people are just saying, well, I'm not going to use it, or it's whatever. I'm just gonna, you know, exactly.
So sorry, but that's what's going to happen, and I don't know what that's going to mean for the people down here, man. And that is some dystopian crap. We've all seen in those movies people coughing in the dark street when it's raining. It's always raining and dark. I don't know why it isn't dystopian futures, but
Yeah.
with trench coat. So what's off in the alley. Give me what you got. Someone robs you. It's just the worst ever. Dystopian futures. You don't want that. Just learn AI, man. Matter of fact, we should put that as a header. Dystopian futures. We don't want that. Just learn AI. But I say this to say there's two things that recently happened. Did you see the latest what Zuckerberg did to help his company stay on top of the AI race?
No. What do
Yeah,
you
we
do?
need to. We used to do the streaming war race. We might need to do the AI race right now.
Ooh, okay.
He
What do you,
hired the well, it was an acqui-hire. He didn't really buy. Usually they buy companies, but because of the scrutiny with what's going on in the government and Meta right now, he went ahead and put a $14.3 billion investment in Scale AI, uh, which the founder CEO Alexander Wang was already a billionaire at 28 years old. So, do you know what Scale AI does?
I had heard about it, but refresh me.
Yeah, they do a thing called I think it's called
Oh,
labeling
this
or
kid.
yeah.
Okay.
And so they hire basically people to train AI models. So
Yeah.
if we talked about this and before how AI models are created, but basically it takes a lot of human beings to train these models because they have brains like humans, neural, but then they'll make a lot of guesses, and it's up to the humans to tell it if it's right or wrong, so it can lock that into his brain. So that's how these models gets better and better over time. And so he created a $1 billion company, Scale AI, to train them. And so he Meta in his infinite wisdom, I guess Zuck was feeling the heat from
Hmm.
OpenAI and I guess Google. Those are probably the two right now, and Meta are probably the big three right now. And then you got Elon trying to do something with Gronk, which I know you love.
Hey, man. Hey, quit putting it like that.
You get warm and cozy with. But
I
I
actually
think
had a Grok story, but I'll keep going.
and so I say all this say is like these awards 14.3 billion, and they didn't even buy it. They didn't buy the company. They only have a 49% stake. So the guy basically got paid, billions of dollars, and Alexander Wang, and he still owns the majority of the company. Isn't that crazy? So this is unheard of. And in the in the discovery that came out of this, comes to find out that Zuck has been trying this for a while. He openly was trying to recruit employees from OpenAI, paying them in upwards of $100 million to go work for Zuck. $100 million.
Hmm.
So no longer a million, no longer 10 million. The standard for like AI top level AI engineers is $100 million. This is we gotta do this.
I love it.
$100 million for AI. Let me say that again.
You remember, people were kind of they were really shocked when he spent 4 billion, or wait, no, how many billion was it? 2 billion on Instagram, but way back
Mhm.
in the day.
Yep.
It was like the small little startup, and they were like, "Why are you?" And he's just like, "Gotta happen, move fast, let's go."
And he was right. I mean, it has kept them relevant with Instagram over the last, 10 years or so. So now this is his big bet. And he just also bought a small venture capitalist firm, I guess, with their insight into what to invest in next. So so people are gonna forget why Facebook is named Meta. I guarantee you that, because that was their big bet just literally 5 years ago, right? The whole metaverse thing. So now that
Well,
he's
it
flipped
had
it, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
it has a decent fallback. It's just a meta brand. It's just meta,
Yeah, yeah,
so
it's
it's
just
a decent
Meta.
fallback. I'll give it to him. Carry on.
But the reason it was changed that way because he was going after this whole virtual world experience. Ooh, they were searching so bad before AI. It was just between crypto and NFTs and the metaverse. Now that AI is here, they say we got it. We
Yeah.
got it now. So it was just you could tell, man. It was like when it was just BS stuff that wasn't really relevant or trying to solve a problem. But once ChatGPT came out in the fall of 2020, December or October of 2022, it just kind of reshaped what their missions are. So, like I said, it's still to be. I mean, billions of dollars are being put into these companies, man. It's just I don't know. So anyway, obviously I'm anxious like everybody else of where this goes and what we're going to do here, but we got to take advantage of it in the world we live. So I say everybody learn the most you can, because they're going to try to replace you with as much of this as they can, as fast as they can. So if you're not learning and getting up to speed, and that's what I'm trying to do too. I mean, leveraging even with content, I feel like we're going to have AI influencers not too long, just taking over faster and faster, because they're the ones that can keep up with the deluge that's going to come our way. We just talked about the biblical stories, right?
Hmm.
And what that means. So, yeah, man. So anyway, so those are some of the AI fears that are happening right now. I think you said something here about cat cut, but I don't know if you want to get into
So
that one.
apparently, a lot of people are spending money or sending money through Facebook, like through the marketplace.
What do you mean?
They're using face. There's like a Meta Pay. There's like a
Okay.
there's like a Cash App or a Venmo or whatever that works on Facebook, and you can just send money through there. Apparently, a lot of people are using it. Yeah. No, I was. You're talking about the cloud of applications and things that they're doing. It's like, hey, just add payments to the thing, and it's out of control. So
Well,
what's
Facebook. I mean, low key. I think a lot of them have some hits, but I mean, Facebook groups is still a thing. And that was relevant. That's been
Mhm.
relevant. And then marketplace is a thing. I didn't know it was that big either.
Oh, it's
There's a
huge.
lot of little things out there. Have you bought something to do Facebook Marketplace?
No, I get free stuff off Marketplace. No, somebody's like, hey, listen, I'm getting rid of all my comic books and stuff, and I'm like,
Oh,
okay, let me write down that address. I'll be there. Or we had an art show, and somebody was like, hey, I'm getting rid of this table, and I'm like, hmm, that's okay. I can use that for the art show.
okay.
It's just so it's stealing a lot of Craigslist action.
Yeah. Interesting. So like, and these all these companies have these little one-off little projects, man. I mean, we talked about notebooks LM from
Yeah,
Google, to be able to create these little podcasts, video podcast, audio podcasts. That's a little growing thing. But the challenge is, so Meta obviously is getting rid of all these sales engineers. Oh well, Google, what they're doing is they're starting to not lay off, but saying, hey guys, you know, if you're not performing, or if be on the lookout for something else, right? We're gonna give you an option to leave.
be on the lookout.
Yeah, be on the lookout, because we're giving you an option to leave here in the next 6 months if you're not performing or something like that. So and they're decimating the top things like Google Ads search, which was their big money maker, right? For years, for over
Yeah,
decades, 20 years at least. So I say that to say Google, man, they should have saw this coming, man. This AI deluge. They literally created the algorithm that created ChatGPT. They wrote the paper on it, and they
yeah,
missed it by a mile, man. And we talked about that. You heard of I want to say Hayden Christensen, but I think it's Christensen something. He wrote the Innovator's Dilemma. You ever heard that book?
yeah.
So he talked about, like, when you're making money on something, Clayton Christensen. See, I said Hayden, it's
Yeah, you did.
Clayton. Because I was thinking Star Wars, but I was close. He wrote a book called The Innovator's Dilemma. And the genius of that book was that he said it's hard for people who are, killing it in an industry, it basically have a monopoly, which, let's be honest, Google had or
Hmm.
has, well, had for years with search and ads and all that. It's just hard for them to innovate on something new. And they had AI. They have all this data. We just talked about before the pod about photos, what it can do with photos. It's got all your photos. It's got all your search history. It's got so much data, and they're just sitting here, man, and just like a lump, man, trying to build something with this AI
Yeah,
stuff. I mean, they got Gemini sitting over here, and it's got the best video ever,
yeah.
and people are not even talking about it.
Dog. I got on YouTube in a browser I wasn't logged into. Oh my god, some of those ads now, man,
Oh wow.
you might as well just pay them and save your brainwashing.
Oh,
Just stay away.
Yeah.
because it was pretty bad. I'm a paid subscriber, by the way, just in case anyone was wondering what I'm talking about or if I sound crazy. I think you sound crazy if you're still running ads on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. What you mean, Google or just in general? Yeah, Google ads, YouTube ads. What about Facebook ads? I tried to do some Google Facebook ads, and they hit and miss. They give you some stuff, but they don't last long. You got to constantly refresh that
So,
stuff.
well, yeah, and we talked about that. I think a little bit about the Meta going all in on AI ads.
Hmm.
So you don't even have to do anything. Just like give us all your information. We'll go talk to people, and you won't know what we're showing them, but it'll be good.
I haven't played with that in a minute. I went deep into it last year, but I was gonna revamp it. So I tried to go to my old stuff. I was like, well, it's not here anymore. What's going on? I said, this is another thing I gotta learn.
Real quick though, real quick. Coca-Cola is now using AI in its design. Coca-Cola has been a very big player in the design space, in the creative space. Just they're very strong with their logo, their audio, the way they drop the ice cubes in the glass on the IMAX screen, and everybody's like, "Oh, I gotta have that." So they're good with their design and their effervescent propaganda. But they've gone to AI now, and so what they're doing is they're training a new AI system internally on all of the designs that they've had since the beginning of time, and they're using this AI to basically say whether somebody's in line with what Coca-Cola does or not. So people just start trying stuff, and the AI can be like, yes, I'm Coca-Cola AI. Change it this way a little bit. That red is a little too bright. You can't conflict with the actual can's red. You need to do this, this, and this, and this. Thank you very much. I am your God here.
Yeah, I don't know how true this is, but AI overview from Google said that it's called Project Physion to enhance its local design process and maintain brand consistency. Physion, developed in collaboration with Adobe, acts as a brand compliance co-pilot within Adobe. Okay, that's different. Brand compliance co-pilot as opposed to other co-pilots. No, yeah, that C, it doesn't have enough loop in it. Go back. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, yeah, man, it's just so yeah, I kind of prefaced it before. I mean, not like I'm, glory, glory, hallelujah. AI is going to save us, but I do feel like we're just not using it effectively enough as human beings, and we can just unlock that more. Matter of fact, I was listening to this podcast. You should probably check it out. It's the guy. His name is Lenny something. He's a big time PM product manager, right, for Facebook and everybody. He does a podcast on how to think about products and things like that. And he went super deep into it. About how to think about prompting even nowadays, and how
Hmm.
people are like, oh, prompting, who cares about it? But no, we're still not doing it right. And the guy he brought on is just, that's all he does. And he said there's two ways to think about it. And one was like, the way we have conversations with it. And then
Hmm.
obviously the way is the one prompt to rule them all. And he called that product prompt, right? Just,
Yeah,
massaging the prompt so it can just do one thing and it's consistent all the way every time you use it. Most people are using more conversationally, right? But then
yeah.
if you do the one prompt to rule them all, then that's really where you make your money. So he kind of broke it down like that. But he just gave all these scenarios and things, to kind of think through of how you create prompts, right? And I think I mentioned it before. One of the ways is to kind of have it critique this answer, right? If it gives you an answer, say, hey, um, did you get anything wrong about this? And it's amazing. It will go through and tell you, like, I have it do a lot of searches for me because I deal with a lot of
Hmm.
doctors. So I want to make sure my stuff is right. And so it would go in and say, it says, well, I said it was, majority, 50%, 55% had this. Well, technically, it was only out of 20 people when the case that they gave. So it starts to like, oh, I should have
Yes.
gave him, I gave him some BS. Let me tell him what the nuance is. And to me, that was enlightening because it's like, wow, it's really understanding the nuance here where it could got things wrong and hallucinated maybe and made things
Yeah.
up a little bit more.
What you can do is create, for lack of a better phrase, a board of AI directors. Um, and basically set up a document saying, this is Bob. He's a bum, doesn't like to do work, and this and that. This is Sarah. She's skeptical, da 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 da. This is da da da. And you explain all the parameters of these different people. And then you run that through the AI and say, use that to critique this whole thing. So it'll be like a group of people, and you can ask, what would Bob say um, f- to this proposal? And say, oh, Bob's a
Mm,
bum, and he wouldn't want to go forward with it because that's a lot of work and it would require change and this and that and that. And so you can basically set up these different voices, whether it be from a marketing voice, a sales
good
voice,
point.
so you can create all these different voices. And this is kind of what I thought Notebook LM was going for in the beginning. Um,
Mm.
but whatever. Um,
It can
it's
be right. It, but
yeah, no,
no, it can.
it doesn't. I don't know how many voices you can add to it now, or how many different places, and how. What I'm concerned with is how separate can you make their thinking modules. Like, I really want
Mm,
these voices to
mm.
sound separate. I want them to be the different, angels and devils and imps and
But
uh,
there's no
Pegasus
spoon,
on my
Mr.
shoulder.
Benja. There's no spoon. Check this out. What if? But what if, um, I can see that like if you're selling to a group of people and you're kind of creating like, hey, what would they say? So you can deal with
Mhm,
objections and stuff like that to prepare for it. But what if you can create multiple voices inside, and say, hey, you run, these type of folks, they're this, they're that, they're this, give me a synopsis of what percentage of them were answered a certain way, and maybe get it go deeper into categories, right? If you're trying to get a massive amount of people to go a certain different direction, if that makes sense.
no, it
So
does make
like,
sense.
huh?
No,
So
it does make
what?
sense.
So what if let me see. So let's say there's gurus. Let's put that. There's
Yeah.
people that have followers underneath them, right?
Hmm.
Like say Alex Hormozy, right? He's looking for small business people to get stuck.
Hmm.
Could you figure out, messaging that his group of people would gel with a certain messaging, right? Whether it comes from him or anything. What's some of the commonalities that they like, that I could sell to that market, for instance? Would it be obviously it's not Alex Hormozy, but he touches on certain things over and over again. So what would be
Hmm.
some good products to sell to a group of folks? Because I'm looking at marketing, right? So I can
Right. Okay.
understand sales, but how do you impact a massive amount of people, right? With messaging. And I think you can do that probably with ChatGPT if you have certain avatars of people that are out there
Right.
that you can
Hmm.
use as a synopsis. Okay, these are the people that give me the synopsis of the type of people that follow Alex Hormozy, and then now give me some commonalities of what they like. Now tell me what are some of the problems they're dealing with. Okay, now what are some solutions to those problems, right? And that
Hmm.
haven't been done before. And so breaking it down to that level where you can just okay, now give me a lead magnet I could create that would attract them. And
Yeah.
so that's, to your point, where you're thinking of a board of directors for, yourself and your group. I was thinking more like selling with a board, of a group of people that I would sell to, but also using it as a mouthpiece for a multitude of people that I could sell to. So that's where the no spoon is, right? It's like there's levels to this that you can even think through of how you can utilize it more effectively.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, those are things that
I
I'm
didn't
running
even
my
drop.
brain.
I didn't even drop all the heat that I'm trying out over here. I got crazy stuff going on.
That's just little tidbits, huh? Well, maybe
Little
we'll
tidbits.
Mr. Benja, maybe we'll put a book out on Instagram, right? The heat, the CPT, the Chat GPT heat. They don't want you to know.
Yeah, you said you got to remember this. These are large language models, and they're basically just stringing together all of this data that they've gotten from the past. If you can massage that data and you know help it out a little bit and help it figure out, okay, this is what I want from this is what I want from that, this is what I want from this. Take those three things, run them through this, you know, steps, series of steps or whatever, and then give me that answer. And then explain that answer through these different seven different voices. And it's like, you just
Mhm.
start playing around with it, doing more complex things, and the layers just keep stacking and stacking, and it gets exponential, and suddenly your processor blows up.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. They said the other way to kind of test it out is give it examples, right? Especially if you're doing data that's very specific, like in
Yeah,
healthcare, examples, hey, this is what it should look like. Do
yeah,
this. So give me this like look like this, right? And so they can
Yeah,
emulate that. So yeah, man. So levels to this, man. Wow, we AI, man. We could talk about it for days. Was there anything on the
it's important. Well, go on.
yeah, anything on the in the entertainment world? That's where we started. Show versus business. Anything funny out there, man? Anything we're excited about that's coming out here? Anything?
Um, I'm looking over here at James Gunn talking about the movie industry is dying because people are making movies with unfinished scripts.
Okay, sure.
I mean, yeah, why not?
James Gunn. James Gunn going James Gunn, I guess. Um, if you could
That
tell
was a,
by our facetiousness is that we don't think that's the case. Movies are dying, but sure.
I mean, there's a lot of bad stories out there, but yeah, even so, even if you had a lot of good stories, it's like, why? Kids are still playing Fortnite.
Exactly.
You need a fundamental shift, which is what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing, man. Man, even as someone who enjoys Hollywood and still listens to the stories and stuff, I'm feeling like it's getting old, man, and behind the times. It's just the storytelling's is too slow. The process is too slow. They're not, it just seems stuck in ice compared to when you step out of it. You see everything like the streaming world, and we talked about what Kai Cenat
My
did at
God, yeah.
BET Awards, or when
hmm
you even listen to commentary on Marvel and what's going on to movies. You're just like, this is
You know what?
not good.
We've gone all these decades with social media, and not all these decades, all these years with social media and streaming. Um, actually, yeah. Uh, I can say all these decades with social media. But anyway, we've gone all this time with social media and streaming, and they really haven't connected them in a highly beneficial way. In fact, they've pulled away from it. Because I remember I used to do watch parties on Xbox Live with Netflix.
Oh, nice.
So I would jump on my Xbox. You could have a watch party, and your little avatar from Xbox would be there watching the movie with some other people. You could talk about it. You could thumbs up, thumbs down. It was a fun time. But now, and all these ideas came out where you could try. People had ideas. Not that this actually got published, but people had ideas for, hey, wait a minute, what if you had like, a watch party and you allowed people to, do a rebroadcast, and the rebroadcast could be a paid thing. So you're like holding a private screening of a movie, right? And maybe you pay for it, but then people pay to get in your room, online. Like maybe Ryan Coogler does a special online screening, and it's kind of like a webinar with him in the corner, and he's answering questions as the movie plays. There were all these ideas of things you could do that you could monetize. You could bring in um, so many different ways of connecting all these technologies. And it always seemed like, yeah, instead of dealing with Hollywood, why don't we just make Twitch a thing and watch people play video games? Why don't we just have TikTok where people are throwing millions of dollars at somebody so they could say, ice cream. It's it's phenomenal. You know what I mean? And all of this was just kind of missed and poo-pooed on by Hollywood. So it frustrates me when you get stuck in the ice.
Yeah. But you talked about this. You always, you coming up with all these ideas also for just what's happening in the movie theaters, right? You talked about that. Like what can we do there to make them innovative and more interactive? I mean, we had that big chicken jockey moment, and the studio's trying to lock that down, so it's kind of like
Yeah,
when they have a moment, there's just a glimmer or something. They
yeah.
just they fumble the ball every time, man. It's just like because they just
I'm
don't
mad.
understand.
I'm still mad that theaters don't have gift shops.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, they got popcorn buckets.
Yeah, I gotta go to GameStop to get a poster for a movie. Nah, get out of here with that.
Yeah, I mean, Mr.
All
Benja. Yeah,
GameStops smell funny. I don't want to
yeah.
go.
I mean, and then all the little Funko Pops. I mean, they could have all those every time there's a new movie coming out, especially on Marvel or something. They could be right there in the game shop. So or in the movie shop. Man, there's tons of ideas. You're right, man. That they just don't make it a experience and I think because their model was driven by like the experience is the movie, but now that the movie is basically it's an advertisement to go wait for it to come on streaming at the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind
Oh,
of like
yeah, yeah,
that's all
yeah.
it
There
is.
you go.
It's like, oh, the movie
Adver-
came out. Well, I'm going to wait till it comes. And HBO Max in like 3 weeks. Matter of fact, Sinners is coming out
Yep.
July 4th on HBO Max. We could have waited.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's where we're at, man. You're right, man. They just, and I think, well, to sum all this AI stuff, I do think there is a path forward. I think live experiences, experience moments, people doing conferences, and that's going to be so much more vital. Especially for younger generation because this is their life. They're going to just be on computers talking to people, and if
Yeah.
they get those moments to be out. I think those are going to be the ones that are going to be more valuable, and I could see those prices going up for those type of experience, especially if they're good.
You
So
see that?
that's kind of
Are you maybe referencing the Cosm experience,
the what?
the Matrix Cosm experience?
What going to? No, no, no. I'm talking about actually getting out in the world and go meeting people in person
No,
as
no.
opposed
Have, okay, there's this place called Cosm, COSM. Search for COSM Matrix, and it should come up.
to COSM.
Yeah, that's one word, Cosm.
Okay.
I think that's how they say it, Cosm Matrix. So they're doing these shared reality experiences, they're calling them, where you get a bunch of people in a big situation and you're throwing lights, you're throwing a big dome around them, you're making new sounds in theater effects. It's just this big whole experience around the movie.
Hmm.
So it's interesting. A lot of people like it, but you definitely can't do this for every movie.
Hmm. So everybody's like watching it. Is it like you're watching the Matrix, but everybody feels like they're in it, or what?
Yeah, the idea is that you take your standard experience of sitting down and watching a movie, but then you're not in the theater. You're in like this auditorium or a dome where you can display all kinds of imagery. And so you don't have the regular walls where you see the curtains and the speakers from a theater. Your regular sit down area is maybe customized to the experience.
Hmm.
The lighting inside the venue changes. So when he says red pill, blue pill, like half the place actually lights up with red, half the place actually lights up with blue. Um, so there's just so many more sound, audio, physical additions that they put in this thing to the point where it's called a shared reality experience. Um,
Okay. I mean, it's it's
it's
it's new. I mean, it's still started. They just opened it June 6th. Looks like they
mhm,
only have it in LA and in Dallas, which kind of sucks for right now. But hey, man, I commend them, man. Do something different. It's kind of like the what's that? The Sphere in Vegas, right? The whole
yeah, yeah,
big, huge A sphere that gets you immersed in that. So, yeah, stuff like that. I mean, it costs a lot of money to do, but yeah, if you do it right and you get the pricing right, yeah. I mean, there is a case to be made. I mean, I think it's easier to make money when it's premium. I mean, Alex Hormozy says that. Everybody says that. If you get people to pay a lot more money for stuff, you can make an experience that's really unique and different. And I think the challenge is most people um, don't think that way, and they're like, "Oh, that's cost too much money." But if you do it really well and you get the word of mouth, I haven't heard the word of mouth for it yet because I guess it just came out. Have you heard
right.
anything about it? Is it good?
It was blowing up my social media. So
Okay.
a lot of people who attended were saying this is great, this is cool. But I may just be caught up in a matrix of some algorithm.
Yeah, yeah. I'm wondering, yeah, have you heard anything about the sphere lately? I mean, that was a big thing. I think I went like 2 years about 18 months ago. That was fun.
No, no, that kind of as far as news, I think it kind of fell off the radar.
Yeah.
No,
So
nothing exciting happened lately.
yeah. So guys, look, we're still on the entertainment beat. I know we went deep on the AI stuff, but it's just what we do. We can't help it. AI is taking over everything. So it is what it is. But But yeah, Mr. Benja, was there anything about comments or anything that you want to shout out to some folks? Anything that you
Oh,
saw?
you know, we didn't really have any standout comments that we wanted to bring up this time, but a lot of people are responding to Straw. And, I just want to say, whatever Tyler Perry's doing, man, he's getting people talking. I don't know if I want to check out this trauma. I don't know if I need to bond with somebody who's going through something that seriously, especially at this moment right now. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm feeling a little anxious sometimes here and there. I'm like, I got to calm down. I don't know if I need to be up in straw, throwing my popcorn at the usher when he comes to talk to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My wife saw it. I think it's just what they do. Go watch. I mean, but it's almost like hate watch at this point. Sometimes with Tyler Perry stuff. So yeah, we'll see what. Yeah, it did well. I mean, it got one of the most views of his movie. I mean, I heard it was decently done, kind of like the triple. Was it triple six or something like that? I don't know if you saw that one with Kerry Washington. He did. Tyler
Okay.
Perry did that. That was pretty good, better than his normal stuff. So maybe he has a capacity to do better stuff. So we'll see.
Mm,
Um, I have an uncle that shout out to Horace, who's actually in one of his shows, and so maybe I get him to do a brief interview with me, and we'll put it on the show versus
nice.
yeah. So I meet with we're having a big family reunion coming up in July. So yeah, I'll get his take on it, just high level. He's got some interesting takes on just like how he thinks about it from a business standpoint, Tyler Perry. So I definitely want to put that on wax somewhere. But Mr.
All right.
Benja, yeah, man. Yeah, and then also shout out to everyone that saw my live going when I talked about the Lakers getting sold for $10 billion. I'm a Los Angeles Lakers fan. Sports is entertainment to me and to a lot of folks. So shout out to the folks that went on my live when I was shocked by that news. I think, Mr. Benjamin, you may not be a big sports guy, but this is interesting. A lot of these billionaires are selling high, and it's kind of interesting why. Why now? They just sold. The Celtics got sold for $6 billion. Who's next on the chopping block? Is it the fact that they know something we don't know? That's why they want to sell now and get their money and run. I don't know. So if you hear other big time sports franchises getting sold, like the Yankees and New York Giants, something's up. So that's just what's his name? Mark Cuban. He sold
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks last year. So yeah. So just be on the lookout for that, Mr. Benjamin. I'm not trying to
Mm.
put fear out there, but what do they know that they're trying to get this money now that we don't know?
Yeah.
Get this money and run, son. Run, Forrest, run. So because the Lakers were owned by the Buss family for over 40 something years. Dr. Buss bought the Lakers for 67.5 million. So what's that, a 1,000% markup? So yeah, they made their money. So anyway, that's the shout out to the folks who saw that. Yeah, shout out to everyone who came to the live when I went live and talked about it. So yeah, that was fun.
Wait a minute. What is he a doctor of?
He was a chemistry doctor. Yeah. And he made his millions in real estate.
Oh, okay. This is a different Doctor Bus. All right, never mind. I was just making sure it wasn't the same guy as somebody else was talking about.
I want to say, yeah, Dr. Jerry Buss. Yeah, look him up. Yeah, he was
Yeah, I
he
got
made his money as a chemist, and then went all in on real estate, and then have fun with women. Just FYI. So go check
yeah.
out the show on HBO about the Laker dynasty. That was fun.
Yeah. There's another Doctor Bus I won't mention, but if you already know who he is, then you know.
Yeah, Oh, and then shout out to Juneteenth. I did see I don't know, this is becoming a classic. You ever see the movie The Blackening?
Is it about Cajun fish? No. What's it?
It's a horror comedy, the funniest comedy that me and Mrs. crack up every time we watch it. So we watched it because a bunch of college friends celebrate Juneteenth in a cabin in the woods, and of course, shenanigans ensues. But it's hilarious. It's everything you would think. I mean, but it's got all the tropes and everything, but it's funny. So go check it out if you haven't yet. Yeah, The Blackening. I highly recommend it. It came out 2 years ago, but it was like it was like, we're looking for Juneteenth movies to watch. What we're gonna watch? We end up watching The Blackening. It's not a big selection, Mr. Benja. I'm not watching a slave narrative movie. I need uplifting movies, right?
That's a good point. That's a good point. So
you're not gonna watch 12 Years a
rock on.
Slave on Juneteenth. Sorry.
Rock on. Yes.
So, all right, Mr. Benja. You want to get into these trailers though?
Yeah, man. We're about to get into some trailers. We got a couple we're gonna deal with. The first of these is we're gonna start with Toxic Avenger.
Whatever you want to do, man.
All right, let's start with that one. I'm just queuing them up. Didn't have them queued before.
Oh well, I can riff for a little bit, Mr. Benja, if you let me. Let me rant about something that I want to rant about.
Are you on Truth Social?
Oh no. Why? Do I need to be?
I just needed to throw a comment out there to kind of throw you off for a second. All right, back to the Toxic.
Oh no.
Back to the Toxic Avenger.
Are you on Blue Sky? Are you on? I mean, there's so many.
I'm on Blue Sky. Yeah, I'm on there's some weird ones out there.
Yeah,
I should
I'm
go
on
delete
Blue
those
Sky
accounts.
too. It's just too much, man. Just too much.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
This is our official trailer reaction for The Toxic Avenger, the Red Band trailer, and we're starting right now.
Armed political extremists have taken hostages downtown. Somebody do something!
Wait! Stop! We'll get to all of that. Just relax, okay? We'd lost Shelly a year ago. These days, it's just me and the kid.
Looks great.
I'll just scrape off the black part. That part's pretty good.
Now give him back.
I don't want to hurt him.
Why didn't you do anything?
Sometimes it's better to do nothing. It's going good.
You're saying that this corporation would knowingly poison its own customers just to boost their own profit margins?
Summon the nuts.
Okay, summoning the nuts.
I didn't want any of this. I'm a monster.
You're not a monster. Show him your good heart.
Hey, buddy, I'm your dad.
What the?
I wasn't even involved. But sometimes, you gotta do something.
Who the fuck are you?
Just some dude with a mouth!
Holding hands up and How does it feel to be a hero?
A simple melody. Do you realize what's at stake here?
Everything!
Find him, bring him here.
There you are.
Only the good things in life, that's all that matters.
That was just self-defense. You haven't killed anyone else, have you?
See, when you say, self-defense,
Only the good things.
He's an ugly son of a bitch, though.
I thought that was
That's
like
all that matters to me.
The Toxic Avenger.
That's what the kids are calling him. I think it's swell.
Okay. Did we not know it was unrated?
Have you ever watched a Toxic Avenger or trauma film at all?
I have. I mean, well, pseudo. What's it called? Slither. That was like proto trauma. But yeah, I mean, sure.
You know what's interesting? Like, this used to be one of those weird movies you would watch while you were kind of, drunk, high, didn't care, or whatever. And I don't know, it felt almost a little too serious to me. Like, it seemed like moments where it could have been low budget, they actually high budgeted kind of, and now it doesn't feel as interesting. I'm not saying I don't like the trailer. I'm just making a note of that.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, so
it's so bad it's good kind of vibe.
yeah, that's what I'm getting from it too. It's a vibe. So it's, I'm glad they just put it out there on the trailer. Just let you know this is what you're going to expect for this type of trailer, right? Or this type of thing. But then when they put Terrifier 3, that was a hint that they're going to go there with it. So
Yeah.
so it's one of those things, man. Yeah, man. I mean, marketing wise, it's not my thing. But the comedy, well, it has its moments. Maybe when I was younger, but maybe not now. I don't care for all that. Just to gross out horror, gross out action. Well, it's kind of like The Boys. Let's be honest. This is like The Boys.
Okay.
Yeah, just probably ratchet up a little bit more, just a little bit more, not much.
So one comment out here says this looks way too professional to be a trauma film.
Ooh,
That's kind of what I was thinking too. Like when I saw the cat get thrown out the window, I laughed because it was a dummy cat.
oh,
It was just like it's like someone took a football and put fur around it and said, "Throw this out the window," and that's what made that funny to me. It's like, yeah, that's what I kind of expect. You know the scene where a guy swings and then the camera cuts and then you show a dummy getting tossed over a fence,
yeah.
and then the camera cuts again and then the guy just lands on the ground. You're like, yeah, that's this goofy kind of humor.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, it's just not my type of shtick. But whereas the Naked Gun was, that's just funny to me. But I don't know, man. It's like I said, I think marketing wise, I'm trying to stick to the business side. Taking my personal feelings out of it. I definitely give it a solid B plus. I mean, if you like this type of thing, I think it marketed well. But I agree, there is a disconnect too. Is this like super funny? Is the tone right? I don't get a sense that the tone is just right. Is it super funny or super gross? Is it both? Is it super serious? I think
Yeah.
the trailer didn't give me a sense of kind of what tone. If they just kind of, got faster to the gore part, I think that would have been interesting.
I'm going to give it a B minus.
Ooh.
I think they lean a little heavy into the grossness. It doesn't feel as weird as it should, man. It doesn't feel as weird, offbeat. I mean, they did the biggest change I saw that I wouldn't say surprised me, but like surprised me was the fact that you got Peter Dinklage, a dwarf playing a character that is traditionally a giant of a character. So that was interesting, but it's nothing worth really mentioning. It's just like, okay, Peter Dinklage is doing it now. Cool, let's go. Yeah, I wanted more weird. That's all. But
Yeah.
there's nothing out there like it at this level. So on that alone, B minus.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yep.
agree. So also shout out to Taylor Page. I don't know this. Yeah, you check her out. Yeah, that's all I gotta say, man. Every time she was in Beverly Hills Cop 4, but she did a Kendrick Lamar thing. She did one of his rap songs. Oh, I didn't know her and Jesse Williams were together. So that's good. Good for him. But yeah, just gotta give her a shout out. And then, but look at her pictures, man. Every time it's just like dead on, like this. She knows her angle, just dead on. Look at the camera. Every picture, because it's just those eyes. It just look into
Who
your
is
soul.
Taylor Page? Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Yeah, look her up. You've seen her before, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Wait, she was in there?
Yeah, she was in there for a hot second. Yeah,
Totally missed that. I saw Elijah Wood though. I was like, oh, okay.
yeah. Kevin Bacon.
Looking like Gollum and Rocky Horror Picture Show
Yeah.
put together.
Doing it all. So shout out to her. So anyway, what's next,
All right.
Mr. Benja?
Well, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. We have a full podcast. And now we're on to the next one. All right. We're going to go to the Naked Gun. So this is our Naked Gun official trailer reaction with Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson, starting right now.
Thanks.
Once you kill a man for revenge, there's no going back. A voice in your head saying over and over, that was awesome.
Hold up. Pause. Okay. If we use it on pause during trailers, but we're trying it this time, that one was actually funnier than all of everything else that's been shown. Just that little bit. I just had to say that. I don't know if you agree or if you care.
I mean, after what we saw last time, just of a piece. That's all I gotta say. So yes, it's hilarious.
All right. We're unpausing right now.
Who are you?
Driven Detective Frank Drebin.
Yes! Repeat!
Thanks.
Police Squad has always been the elite of the elite.
Hi, Daddy. It's me, Frank Jr. Love you.
Hey, Dad. Boy, do I miss you.
And you, Frank, are the best of the best.
Need a bathroom. I need this room immediately.
There's a line, man.
Police business.
Hold up. Pause again. I don't know what you're thinking about this so far, but even the funny camera angles, that's what I'm talking about. I've been redeemed.
Okay. Yeah. I was already in, man. So this was easy for me.
Okay. Sorry for that. Let's get back to the flatulence in the car. Unpausing right now.
Oh, I'm gonna ruin another suit.
Over here, Lieutenant. I think someone murdered my brother.
Please, take a chair.
Thank you.
I'll find them. This is what I do. Says you served 20 years for man's laughter.
You mean manslaughter?
Must have been quite the joke.
Yo.
They're going to shut down Police Squad if you do not solve this case. Do this by the book.
Show a little respect!
Why? Who's gonna arrest me? Other cops?
Yes.
Is she serious?
Is he serious?
No.
It seems Mr. Drebin might be more.
Hold up.
That's good. That's good.
I see this why this is a Red Band trailer with 8 million views already.
It's good though. It's good.
Yeah. Not a comedy we haven't seen before, but I actually haven't seen this done with heat vision, so that's pretty good. You ready to carry on?
Let's go.
All right, unpausing right now.
More problem than we thought. I want you to keep an eye on him.
This oven is disgusting.
Rest assured, I won't stop until I've found justice.
What do you want, little one?
Your ass. Nobody messes with Police Squad.
We've upgraded your car with the most advanced crime-fighting tech.
Drive forward 30 feet. Pretty smooth.
Oh!
This place is falling apart.
All right.
You got nothing to say, Mr. Benja.
No, I'm pleasantly surprised. I still don't think it's top tier, but I'm really happy with it. I forgot what I gave it last time. It was really bad. Yeah. You'll have to go back and watch that one because I didn't like the first trailer.
Yeah,
but this one,
for me, if you didn't know, man, the snowman just going down the hallway. That's just random. That just got me, man. Just put some randomness in there, man. I mean, look, we'll see, man. Movies are having a hard time. Or comedies in the movie theater are having a hard time. I mean, when's the last comedy you've seen in the movie theater? So it'll be interesting to see how well this does. I mean, it's getting a lot of views. So we'll see if Liam Neeson, just like he did with The Actioner, right? I have a set of skills. If he, with Taken, if he can revive the in the movie experience laughter again, that'd be huge because yes, we can get horror, we can be scared together.
Yeah.
But when's the last time you just laughed with an audience, man? Just that's the best experience ever in the theater.
I can't
Exactly.
remember. Wow.
I mean, I can remember being shocked and excited when Avengers Endgame, that part, or when
there were funny scenes in like these movies,
not just
like the
like
Ant-Man
laugh
scenes.
out, everybody just coughing and just looking at each other. You see that? Just having a good time, man. I want that visceral experience. I think
coughing, standing up, running down the aisle, spilling your drink,
getting the Holy Ghost. Yeah, we want it all, man. Just
spitting out your drink into your lap because you don't want to hit the person to your left or right,
or maybe spitting out into their face. I mean, just all the stuff, man. I want to see it all. Yeah, man. That's the kind of it's just been minutes since we had a good laugher. So I'm hoping this could be it. So yeah, A. This is you know what? A+, damn it. A+.
Ooh, you gave it the top tier, A+. All right, I'll give it a solid A because as far as trailers go, we're talking about the trailers, not necessarily the whole thing, what it's going to be or if it's going to be any good or not. As far as the trailer goes, I give it an A, solid A.
There you
I'll
go.
leave a little space for the A+. But.
All right, Mr. Benja. Yeah, all right. So hey guys. Give your comments to Mr. Benja right there.
Former hater. I have now been redeemed.
Well, who knows? They might come back at you. All right, Mr. Benja.
All right, so hey, please like, subscribe. We have a full podcast to go off of, but you may already know that. All right, so now we're going to get into The Sandman Season 2. You ready for this?
Let's go.
This is our official trailer reaction to The Sandman Season 2 on Netflix, starting right now. Ham.
It has begun. Dream is returning to hell.
Lord Morpheus comes to us in a futile attempt to free one he loves from our domain. Hell is anticipating his visit most avidly.
Nada loved you. She was right. It is wrong for us to get involved with them. You know that.
If I have committed a wrong, I must make it right.
When one of the endless changes, that changes everything.
Prepare yourself, Tree. The end is coming.
All I have to do.
Everyone loves a good story. But all stories come to an end.
Everyone here seems to not notice or care. The world is ending.
We did have some good times, didn't we? You cannot save yourself now.
The dreaming will survive. Even if I did not.
What is Netflix doing, man, with these, these part 2, part 3s? You remember when Stranger Things came out, or it seems like they're doing this more and more now. It's interesting. Shows that they think are hot, or their algorithm tells are hot, they're putting them into like they don't do they're doing binge. They're doing pseudo binge now. You notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to keep people on longer. So anyway, there's 2 parts to this one. I mean, once again, this is not my kind of style. I mean, I didn't watch the first one. Did you watch the first Sandman?
Well, hold on. Are you familiar with the comics? Did you like them?
I'm familiar. I didn't like the comics either. I'm familiar. Okay. I'm familiar with the story. Sandman, the Endless. I guess who's his sister? She's somebody. They all make up kind of what things that humans need to live or whatever, right? A different,
right.
like dream world and
what wasn't your thing?
Huh? It's just the
Wasn't your
whole
thing then.
fantasy thing. And then I heard back in the day, you remember there was like this rumor that it was leaving a lot of kids to commit, to kind of end themselves, a little bit. So I don't know if that's.
I
Did you
do
hear about
remember
that?
that. I remember there was some scandal a while back,
Yeah. Oh,
but
it
I
was,
was
it was deaf. That's the name. That remember she was deaf, his sister,
Mhm.
and so they were together.
You know, I don't wait. He was with his sister.
Well, no, he wasn't with his sister, but she was, such an appealing character that it drew a lot
Okay.
of folks together.
Yeah.
Neil Gaiman, his whole premise is, he's just very into, uh, you know, all those deep lores and stuff like that. So he wrote
Right.
a
Right.
lot about that. He created the Sandman.
Yeah. Yeah. Did I'm not sure if we should even be talking about this, but I threw it up there because, in case you didn't know, Neil Gaiman's been quote unquote canceled.
Yes,
And not just the Netflix show, The Man.
yeah. I heard about that too.
So after season one, which was getting a variety of responses, people thought it was going to be something that could go on for many seasons with all the story. And I was like, okay, they're doing a pretty decent setup. They're getting the characters out, giving you some intrigue on what could happen, giving you some tension. And then it's like suddenly word comes out, hey, Netflix is canceling Sandman season 2 after some SA allegations against the creator, Neil Gaiman.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's going to be, so they said, you know what, season 2 is going to be the last one. Wrap it up.
Mhm. That's a lot to wrap up.
Just like, I don't care what your plans are, wrap it up.
Wrap it up, B. Yeah. Yeah, his sibling death. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Yeah, it was just not my cup of tea. Just the whole Tori Amos of it all. So just very fancy heavy, super heavy and fancy. I mean, I don't have a problem with fancy, but just of a thing. But I can see how it does seem a little flat though. I mean, even though I don't know the story thoroughly, it does seem like people are trying to end it pretty quickly and it's not
Yeah.
telling the whole story. And it does seem like that third act where this big bad comes and try to kills the world and they either save it or don't, but probably will save it. So it's seems kind of a piece, right? Just very similar to stuff we've seen before. I don't think it's anything that's new and different. So for that saying, I would say I'll give it like a B minus because I just don't see it catching new folks outside. I mean, it's gonna be canceled anyway. It's canceled anyway, so it is what it is. But getting new people is just not what it's trying to do.
Yeah. I liked what the first season did, and I thought it had some interesting things to it. But I don't think this trailer was particularly interesting. I still like it, but I'm looking at the trailer and as you said, it was just kind of, hey, world's gonna end. I'm the Sandman. I'm gonna stop all this from happening. So that seemed very expected from a trailer.
Yeah.
But it did its job when it played all the images, showed all the characters, gave you that music, and ended with the dun 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 dun, like all good Netflix trailers do.
Yeah.
I give it a B plus.
B plus. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's of a piece. It's sure. I'm kind of like, it's I'm trying to see who else is in this thing. Let's see. Yeah, they got Morpheus. Who plays his sister on Death? They don't have. Oh, yeah. It's his kinder, wiser, older sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's the thing I don't like about this lore. It's like I get what. Oh, they're like all D's. It's coming back to me. The desire, death, dream. I think there was another couple of D's in there. So
Dumbass.
despair.
Derp. Get derp in there. Drama.
Drama, drunkard. Yeah. They're all in there. Yeah. So it's all the D's are the endless. Yes, it's a thing. But that's the thing. I didn't get into the lore, but I think it's more of a vibe. But it was kind of like I never got a sense that it was consistent. You know, it was just like, okay, but then here's Cain and Abel, right? Or here's, here's some Asgards, or here's some, you saw the jack-o'-lantern popping up, right? What was that about? So just he just mixed. It's just a big bag of all kind of lore he threw in there, right? So
Yeah, and all that stuff is from the story, but when they're just throwing it in a trailer, it's like this guy, this explosion, this world is splitting.
Here's a guy with a pumpkin head. Like, okay, where'd that come from? Just it's. I'm assuming you're a fan. Is that correct?
I am a fan of. Oh wait, the series?
The comic book.
No, I'm not a fan of the comic book.
Okay.
I thought it was a bit dry, and I was like, I'm going to get hate for that one. Not dry, but the way it was laid out was not my general style of comic book. I did like the series. I appreciate the story. I'm not just going to sit around and read a bunch of Sandman, though. It's just not my comic thing.
Yeah. But you like the TV show, though, right?
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And apparently it hasn't been canceled per se. This is from the rumor mill. But it's finishing up with the Sandman, and they may take the characters and some side stories and run that with a different person.
Yeah, kind of like what they're doing with the Harry Potter series. J.K. Rowling is not involved with the new TV series for Harry Potter, but they're gonna use a lot of her characters. So the new showrunners. Shout out to.
If she shows up on set, they're not going to deny her the craft services catering.
No, just like, Neil Gaiman, who knows what happens there, but they're the creator of these worlds, and so it is what it is. Even, we talk about R. Kelly, or we talk about, Michael Jackson, are we not to listen to certain people's music or enjoy their art, for the art's sake?
You canceled Michael Jackson?
Now I haven't canceled him. We listen to him every Juneteenth.
I rock Michael Jackson.
But we rock him every Juneteenth, right? But it's just is he someone that is that may or may not have done some incorrect things? That's all I'm going to say about that. So that's all I'm saying. It's just
certain people will give you the side eye.
Yeah. So, but that's what I'm saying. So it's like the artistry, I guess Trump's controversy, right? And so it's kind of what it is, unfortunate. So yeah, so I say that to say that Harry Potter and Sandman, they can probably continue on, quote unquote, without the creator. But if things are lessened, I can see the creators coming back, right? And so shout out to Andy Greenwald from The Watch. He's doing the series for Harry Potter, so that's gonna be interesting. So yeah, he's the writer. If you didn't know, I listen to him all the time. So he talks about it every now and then about writing for Harry Potter, the TV show. So it's going to be interesting. Oh, real quick, did you see that they I know I'm getting to a tangent, but they released the pictures of the kids who are going to play Harry Potter, Hermione, and Ron Weasley, and they took off the comments because they didn't want shenanigans to get in there and mess up the kids. So nice picture of the kids. Cute little pictures, some, middle schoolers, and then they turn off the comments. Hate.
Got to do it. Got to do it.
It's too much hate out there, man. So anyway, Mr. Benja, man, we did it, dog. We did it. Another live one. As a matter of fact, I think we're getting better at this live. It sounds almost like our own podcast, man. We just roll with it. We just roll with it, man.
Flow.
So
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too, man. So everyone, thank you for listening and thank you for stopping by. Look, if you like this podcast, please like, subscribe, and comment at Show Versus Business on X, Threads, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go check out our website also at Show Versus Business, but we got more stuff there. Mr. Benja, have a great one.
Peace.